So, this is a starfish box. Confused?
Never heard of it.
Yep. Starfish is actually a code name for what was called Operation Special Fire. So Operation Special Fire was something that the British government started when they found out the German bombing strategies. So the German bombing strategies, sorry, I like bounced over here. The German bombing strategy, they learned that only a few of the German planes actually had accurate navigation. As a result of that, they would send in bombers in two waves. One wave that had navigation, and their job was simply to they were a smaller wave, and their job was simply to just light fires on the cities that they want to have bombed. The second wave that actually carried all the firepower, they came in, but they had no navigation whatsoever, and as a result, the only thing that they were looking for was just smoke. When they figured this out, that's when they started building starfish boxes. Now this is a small one. They'd be about this big. About the size of like a small shed.
Yeah.
Right? Small shed. Still not the size of a building though, right? So they would fill them with sawdust, pine, anything that was super flammable, and then they would soak it in creosote. Just douse the whole thing in it.
And then just like
Very smoky.
very smoky.
And they'd light it up, and it would smoke big, hot, big. I said big twice.
Big flames.
Yeah, big black smoke. The smoke would be huge black fumes, which is very similar to that of burning roof tiles. And from a plane's view, they cannot differentiate the difference. So they would build these boxes, and they would line them up in lines in an empty field. Then when the first wave of bombers would go and bomb a city, everyone in the city would work as fast as possible to put out all the fires in the area. So they would work as fast as possible to get out all the fires in the town. Once that happened, someone with a radio in the city would radio the farmer in the field, and they would say, all right, light it up. So they had these huge wicks that they would I think they would even tie them together, and then so like they would light one and it would light all of them, right? And so they would rather be like, all right, the fires are out, light them up. So they would light these up, and they would start burning, and so an entire field would just be like extruding this huge smoke. And so when the second wave of bombers came, they would mistake that empty field for the city, and they would drop all of their bombs into an empty field. And it is estimated that diverted about 8,000 planes, which saved tons of lives. Now, we don't know a ton about this operation because it was, anyone who was a part of it had to sign on to the Official Secrets Act, which disbanded about 20 years ago. So we only know so much, and we've only known about it for so long. But we assume that the Land Girls, which is who we are portraying, were a part of it and helped build these. We knew that they were on every farm, and we knew that most farms had to build these. That means, it doesn't mean that the Land Girls knew what they were doing. It could mean that like the farmers were like, here, go build this box, sign this document, don't tell anybody what you did last night, right? But we guess and we assume based off of just how things worked out that the Land Girls were a part of it, and so we hope that they were able to help save all those lives, and that's how they contributed.
Wow. I never knew that before. I thought I knew everything about World War II. I'd never heard of that.
Yeah, seriously.
Well, it's not a lot of people have known about it for very long, just because it's only been about like 20 years, 30 years that we've had any access to any of this information, and whatever was left and not burned and not like completely eradicated was just very small. So the stuff that we have on file is very, very limited. We have some photos that were released. So on the back of this board, you can see some of the photos of the actual ones that were created.
So they made fake fires in the...
So this is the starfish box. So you can see these, right? So these are some of the shed-sized ones.
Oh, yeah.
And here's the smoke.
Oh, yeah.
So from above, these obviously don't look like burning buildings, but from a plane's view, that could be mistaken for a burning building. Yeah. So that is what the Land Girls did. Now we have other things like silage, our milking trainer, and personal stories if you're interested. We all portray a different Land Girl. So
Cool.
if you're interested.
That's very interesting. Thank you for that tip.
Of course.